21st pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Yves Missi from Yaoundé, Cameroon, and Baylor University.
First thing that comes into mind, defense, size. 51 blocks this past season, third most by a freshman in Baylor history, and he shot 61% from the floor.
7 feet tall, 7.5 wingspan. There's big and then there's that. That's a different category of big. But he moves well. If you watch him on tape, he's a very fluid defender. He moves well. He blocks shots well. Potential to also do some switching. There's no reason why you would say he's not a plotter. Big 12 all-defensive team as a freshman, 10 points, 7 points, 61 from the field. The question now is, it's interesting because this is a team that is going to play a guy with Zion Williamson, right? And so you always want to know, is Zion going to push his game out to start shooting some threes? Because this is not a three-point shooter here in Missi. And so you say, how do you play him with Zion Williamson? Because Zion Williamson has shown, at least even in the last year, that he's the centerpiece of what everybody thought he was going to be,
right.
And he proved it last season.
Well, listen, he played the games, he showed up, but his big moment is when he showed up against the Los Angeles Lakers to play in.
Yes.
I mean, he showed up that game, the level of aggression, just 2 days after he had wet the bed, he showed up and answered the call and let everybody know what he could do before he ultimately got injured again. His health is obviously the determining factor to where New Orleans, how far New Orleans can go.
Missi's basketball lineage runs deep through his family. This shot-blocking force is following in the footsteps of some NBA stars from his native country of Cameroon.
I was born in Belgium and I grew up in Cameroon, and I moved to the States in December 2020. I was playing soccer before, and then I started playing basketball because of my parents and brother. They all play for the national team, and my brother played at Harvard, so I grew up watching him play, and they become inspiration, and I started wanting to play basketball. Right now, Derek Lively from Duke, who play for the Dallas Mavericks right now, translate his game pretty well. From college to the league, he's been a good example. And then somehow I've been watching since I'm young, I would say maybe Jordan Beat and Pascal Siakam, who are also from Cameroon.
He's only played organized basketball for 6 years, discovered at a camp at 4 years ago, and now he's a first-round pick in the NBA. He's standing by with Monica.
Yves, there have been some fantastic Cameroonian basketball players in the league, Joel Embiid, Pascal Siakam. For you to join that legacy and have the opportunity to continue to represent your country, how special is that?
I mean, it's definitely special. There's only 5 people in the history of Cameroon that went to the league, so be able to count me as one of them is crazy. It's now 6 out of like 30 million people. It's just insane.
Now, the New Orleans Pelicans organization, they are a team that seems to be on the cusp of doing some special things. How will you be able to contribute to helping them win?
I feel like I'm someone who can impact winning from day one, just be able to play defense, to be able to be a threat in offense as well. Just someone who brings energy all the time.
Outstanding, Yves. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
First time Baylor's had multiple first-round picks in a single draft.
With the 21st pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Yves Missi from Yaoundé, Cameroon, and Baylor University.
You see the flag there, the Cameroon pride. He was born in Belgium and then raised in Cameroon. He moved to the United States, Yves Missi did, at 16 years old. Both of his parents competed for the Cameroon national team. His brother Steve played at Harvard, was a 3-time All-Ivy League selection at Harvard. Yves Missi, all Big 12 defensive team, the first Baylor freshman to earn that honor. We were talking about shoring up that rim protection for New Orleans, and now they've done just that, Jay.
Well, that's what he does. 7'2" wingspan. He's fluid, mobile, and he's super athletic. He's a rim runner and a lob threat in pick-and-roll situations, and an excellent offensive rebounder. But he's an excellent shot blocker.
Yeah.
When I think the coming out party that he had was in Madison Square Garden when Baylor played Duke, and he blocked a ton of shots, and he was just so athletic and all over the place. He's still a little bit raw with his offensive skills, but he's got all the tools. So he's got a very high ceiling. He just turned 20 years old. That makes him over the hill now. Yeah. That doesn't make he's not a teenager anymore. We were laughing about teenagers. But there's a lot of upside with him because of his athleticism.
They needed him in that Duke game, Jay. That's the game that I had here on my notes where he competed with Kyle Filipowski, someone that had already made a name for himself. Yves Missi didn't back down, and it's the lob threats. When you talk about the NBA, what made the Mavs so dangerous? Right. The lob threats, that is something that is so difficult to stop defensively. So you add Yves Missi to this team, but the defensive energy, the offensive energy, the rebounding, his athleticism, but the heart he plays with, and the fact that he is only scratching the surface. He hasn't even played organized basketball very long. There are players in this draft that have played organized basketball 2 or 3 times as long as Yves Missi has, so the ceiling for him is so high.
You mentioned the shot blocking.
That's a good point, because he's young in the game. He's 20 years old, but he's young in the game.
You mentioned the shot blocking. I mean, 51 blocks, third most by a freshman in Baylor history.
I got excited for that highlight because even
you guys should have seen Andrea literally just jumped out of her chair with her mouth hanging open.
Well, because like he gets the tip on the ball right defensively, and he's trying to corral it right. He tips the basketball defensively, Richard, and imagine him adding a handle, and that's just where his game is going.